Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you a book review, and that book is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. And this is a fairly new book. It just came out, I think the end of August, and it's one that I've been highly anticipating, and I have to say guys, this book did not disappoint. Stay With Me is about this married couple in Nigeria who have struggled with getting pregnant, and so the husband's family, and their names are Yajida is the woman's name and Akin is the husband's name. Akin's family decides to get him a second wife, and this is a fairly common custom where many men have many wives in this culture, but it's upsetting for Akin and Yajida because they wanted to just have a monogamous marriage. They didn't want to delve into polygamy, but they're kind of being forced to because of all this pressure to have a baby and keep the line going and all of that. So going into this book, I thought it was going to be a book about them trying to adjust to having this woman coming into their lives where they, did not want her. But it turned out that this book is so much more than that story. That's kind of just the tip of the iceberg, really. And I don't want to say too much more about the plot, honestly, because I will give things away if I do, and I don't want to give anything away because there are actually a lot of twists and turns in this book that, like I said, I was not expecting. The plot totally goes places that I didn't think it would go. So since that's all I'm going to say about the plot, I do want to talk about Yajida as a character. I found her character to be very interesting and one that I really identified with because part of the reason I wanted to read this book was because my husband and we struggled to get pregnant the first time around. It took us about 1.5 years to get pregnant, so I totally understood the frustration and the sadness and the heartache and everything that went along with Yajida's story because in that regard, in trying to get pregnant, because I lived that myself and it was tough. So I totally identified with her. And she was a very interesting character. I had to look up how to say her name, how to pronounce it, and when I was looking it up, it turns out her name means image of mother, which I thought was very suited for her and obviously was done purposely by the author, because Yajida is this character that she's this image of a mother, but she's not a mother. She so badly wants to be that in her life. She so wants to fulfill that role, but it's just not happening. And this is probably because she so badly wants it, also because she grew up without a mother. Her mother died giving birth to her, and she had 4 or 5, I think, different stepmothers, but they kind of didn't really pay her any mind. They didn't really give her any affection or anything like that. And even her siblings, her half-siblings, also she felt very distant from, so she kind of grew up in this kind of lonely state. And so for her to have a child, to have something of her own, to call her own, was just so, so important to her. It's also a big deal to Yajida to kind of become a mother and do that whole thing because her family never expected much from her. They kind of thought she was just going to just be a nobody, and she so wants to be the opposite of what she had growing up and be the opposite of what her family, her stepmothers, think that she's going to be. So to her, it's just a very important thing, and it's so important to her to kind of alter her story or alter her fate, which is a huge theme in this book. Fate and destiny is a huge theme, and not only that you are kind of given this hand and are expected to deal with it, but also what are the consequences if you try to challenge fate and try to change your story to suit what you want, and that's a huge theme going on in this book. Because both characters, Akin and Yajida, they both are trying to kind of change this fate that's been handed out to them, this idea that they can't have a child. They're trying to fight it and change it the best they can. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My baby woke up from his nap, and yeah, he was making quite a ruckus in the background, so he's going to be in the video now. So this is Hunter. Hopefully he keeps calm and quiet while I finish this review. Anyways, so another big theme in Stay With Me is storytelling, and you see this a couple of times throughout the story where characters are telling stories kind of like fables or like fairy tales, that have been passed down generations and whatnot. And it kind of ties in with the idea of fate and destiny in that, in Yujita's case anyways, she tells this story where she actually, as she tells the story, she changes kind of some of the things about the story to kind of fit her taste and to fit her own ideas about how the story should be, and it very much mirrors her own life. And you also see this later in the book with her husband Akin. He does the same thing. Except I don't think he changes any part of the story, but he's telling a story that very much mirrors what's going on in his own life. So, huge theme there, and one that really just stuck out to me. So like I said, the story just kind of took twists and turns I didn't expect, had some themes going on that I didn't expect. The ending was sad, but also uplifting. There was actually quite a few parts in the book that, as you can imagine, that are very sad. But it was just such a good book, so powerful. And like I said, I was so surprised by it because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. But yeah, I totally loved it, and it was on the short list for the Bailey Women's Prize for Fiction. I don't think it won though. And I honestly can't compare it to any of the other books because I haven't read them, but I thought this book was fantastic. I really liked it a lot. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, which is a rarity for me. I don't just hand out 5-star ratings, so I don't know if that tells you anything, how much I really enjoyed this book. And if you can, you should definitely pick it up because it is well worth the read. Anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope that you are having a wonderful week. And like I said, if you can, get your hands on this book because it is a good one. So, but other than that, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.